What's up guys, how's everyone doing? In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to get Stage Manager and external display on iPhone. This is an iPad only feature and it only works on newer iPads, but today I'm going to show you guys how to do it on iPhone. For this process, we will need to install a jailbreak tweak, and as such, we will need to have a jailbroken device. I have a jailbreak tutorial on how to use Dopamine 2 to jailbreak iOS 16.0 through 16.6.1. That tutorial is in the cards or linked down below in the description. You also may be able to use the Serotonin semi-jailbreak if you don't have access to an iOS version that is currently jailbreakable right now. However, if you have a Dopamine compatible device, I would certainly recommend using that over Serotonin. Also, currently, as I'm recording this video, both Dopamine and Serotonin only work on iOS 16, and as of right now, there is no iOS 17 jailbreak or semi-jailbreak. This will very likely change in the future, so if you're watching this a year or two from now, then it'll probably work for you on 17. This tweak should also enable Stage Manager on older iPads, as well as enabling the external display feature, and this is nice to see working because before TrollPad, the external display feature on older iPads was not working for me. Once your device is jailbroken, now we can proceed with the rest of the video. Go to Safari and download TrollPad. The developer also just made a repo for this tweak, so adding the repo in Cilio or whatever package manager you want is probably the easier way to download it. Once it's done downloading, go ahead and open the download in Cilio. From there, just install TrollPad. Once it's done installing, go ahead and respring. This tweak tricks your iPhone into thinking it's an iPad, so there are some other features, but the one that we care about the most is Stage Manager. Once your device is back, swipe down to bring up Control Center, and you should now see a Stage Manager toggle. And it was really that easy. Now you have Stage Manager on your device. Tap on the toggle and it'll bring up this dialog box, basically telling us what Stage Manager is and asking us to turn it on. Turn on Stage Manager and now you can use it. You can add other windows with different applications, and you can also resize them to your liking. This is a little bit different in concept on iPhone, and it just feels a little bit off, and well, obviously that's because you're tricking your device into being an iPad, and this isn't supposed to be on iPhone. If you've never used Stage Manager, you can open multiple apps at once and resize them. This is kind of like a built-in multitasking feature, but it's only exclusive to iPad and isn't available on iPhone. Because this wasn't built specifically for iPhone, resizing windows, especially on the smaller devices, just feels a little bit strange. However, I will say being able to use multiple apps at once on iPhone is pretty cool. Swiping to the right brings up all of your recently opened apps, and you can drag on an app and bring it up to this view and resize it and have a bunch of apps open side by side and interact with all of them. Because this feature was built with iPad in mind, rotate your phone and you can now use Stage Manager in landscape mode. Interacting with this on my iPhone 11 makes me realize how much of a better experience this would be on a Pro Max device. And although yes, technically this is a jailbreak tweak, it's wild that this is a native feature exclusive to iPad that was shoved into the iPhone. Also, fresh off the Vision Pro demo, the corners to resize apps looks exactly the same as it does on Vision OS, which is a pretty cool touch as well. Using Stage Manager in landscape mode feels like it's the right way to do it because this way it gives you more screen real estate that you're working with, and it's actually really cool to multitask this way. Although I enjoy using Stage Manager in landscape mode, I have had my fair amount of bugs or crashes with this. So if you experience a random glitch or a random boot into safe mode here or there, just keep in mind that this feature was not made for iPhone and was only really made for iPad. Also, not sure if this is just a glitch, but I have some of my recently opened apps and I tried tapping them, I tried dragging them over, and nothing happens, so I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, you can rotate your phone again, and now we're back to using Stage Manager in portrait mode. I will say Stage Manager is a very interesting feature. It exists on iPadOS and it also exists on macOS too. With macOS's latest updates, you get hands-on with this feature, and I do have to say I never use it on my Mac. Obviously, since there's less multitasking on iOS-based devices, maybe it makes more sense here. There's also settings for TrollPad, and you can turn on external display by going into the settings and toggling on Use AirPlay as external display. Now let's go ahead and screen mirror to a TV or a monitor, and you can see external display via Stage Manager is now enabled. The external display feature is more fine-tuned to actually work with a monitor, I would say, than a TV, but it looks really cool, but it is bizarre to see my iPhone's dock on a TV or a monitor. With this external display feature, I can go ahead and open an app on my iPhone and move it to whatever display I'm looking at, and now I have more screen real estate on my iPhone to open up other applications and do other things. You also can enable the external display feature using a Lightning to HDMI cable. Okay, I have to say, now that I see it on my monitor, it looks awesome. So in order to move a window over to your external display, you have to tap on the thing in the middle and tap move to display. The external display feature is really cool. You will have to connect a mouse. Even though it looks perfectly fine right now, you'll notice if you use this on your personal device, there's no real way to actually interact with the content that you put on the external display. Unless, of course, you have a Bluetooth mouse, and pairing it to an iPhone isn't exactly as straightforward as you would think. To pair your mouse, go to Settings and scroll down to Accessibility. From there, go into Touch and make sure Assistive Touch is turned on. Then scroll all the way down to where you see it says Pointer Devices, and under Devices, we can tap that, and now we can attempt to connect our Bluetooth mouse. By the way, I said attempt to connect because I tried everything and this Bluetooth mouse would not connect. And then finally, it did decide to connect. So just keep trying if you can't get your Bluetooth mouse to connect, and hopefully it does eventually. There also seems to be this random red bar that pops up too, but likely this is just a bug that could be fixed at some point. Installing this on iPad is pretty cool because not only does it give you the Stage Manager feature, but it also brings external display along with it. Although it does say that an external keyboard and mouse are required to use an iPad with an external display, I was able to get it working without that. However, just for good measure, I put my iPad in the keyboard case and connected a Bluetooth mouse to it, and it seems to run pretty well. Honestly, once you hook up a keyboard and a mouse to your setup, the killer feature here is the external display. While Stage Manager might be easier to use on a larger display like an iPad, I still think it looks really awesome on an iPhone. You can use the mouse to directly open an app on the iPhone, and you can resize it with the mouse as well, and that's really cool. And this effectively allows you to have two different displays for your iPhone at the same time. Open a bunch of apps on the display, and on your iPhone, open something completely different. And this unlocks the ability to multitask on iPhone like never before. Basically, external display is powerful enough to turn your iPhone or iPad into a computer. This is something for the Pro Max devices that actually makes sense. All in all, Stage Manager and external display on iPhone are awesome. If I didn't have a MacBook or a Mac Studio, this actually would be a really interesting setup to use. I mean, you basically just connect a keyboard and a mouse and plug it into a display and you're good to go. Anyway guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to hit that like button. Also, go ahead and subscribe and turn on that post notification bell so that way you never miss out on a brand new upload. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Have a good one guys. Peace.